Are you an entrepreneur looking to unlock new opportunities and fuel the growth of your business? Then join us Saturday, February 24th from 9 to 3 here at Jericho Church Without Walls, 8086 North 76th Street here in Milwaukee for an exclusive workshop designed to empower your entrepreneur journey. Discover practical ways to build your business credit, which is a critical step for financing your dreams and expanding your reach. Our Beyond the Walls Entrepreneur Workshop will cover everything from the basics of business credit to strategies for building business credit to grow your business. Hear from entrepreneurs just like yourself who transform their business finances and open doors to new possibilities. Mark your calendars for February 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 8086 North 76th Street here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a day of learning and networking and taking a big step towards your entrepreneur journey. Spaces are limited, so secure your spot today and join the community of forward-thinking entrepreneurs ready to take their business to the next level. You can go to my website to register. That's dradburns.com/events. So I need you to register today. The cost is only $25, but I need you to register so that I can know you're coming. God bless. Well, amen, amen, amen. Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Rise and Thrive. Yes, it is our goal to help you to rise out of the normal mediocrity of the world and get to a place of thriving, not just surviving.
All right.
And so I'm here today with Minister Sharon D. Brumfield. How you doing, Minister Brumfield?
I'm amazing. Thank you for having me on tonight, Pastor.
All right, amazing. That's a good word. Listen, we're going to be talking about our up and coming Beyond the Walls workshop, our business workshop. And listen, you want to tune in tonight and listen because this is going to be a powerful workshop we have coming up on this Saturday, February 24th, Building Your Business Credit. And this is going to be some practical, when I say practical, I mean practical things that you can put in place right away. So some practical tips and guides for you to begin even now setting up and strengthening your business credit. And so it's at 9 on Saturday and it ends at 3. Lunch is provided and a workbook is provided and it's $25. I remember on our last workshop, our Pastor Powell was with us and he said he was embarrassed to tell people about the workshop because it was so low. And so we kept the price low because we wanted to make sure that it was not another expense. I know that businesses are you know, when you first starting out, you got enough bills, you got enough things that you're trying to do. And oftentimes we don't value information. We don't value putting ourselves in a place where we can invest in ourselves. And so many businesses, they're trying to do it on their own. They got this dream and they just trying to make it happen. And so we wanted to make it affordable for you. And so we're just covering the cost of the workbook and the lunch. And we're taking care of the speaker and everything else. And so you want to be a part of this week, Saturday, February 25th, our building business credit, a practical guide. How did that sound, Minister Brumfield?
That sounds good. You know, I was at the last workshop and I signed up that day. Once I got that QR code, I scanned it and made my registration that day because of the information I received from that first workshop. I knew I didn't want to miss this next one because being a business owner, an entrepreneur, constantly putting money in and money in and money in, we want to find new ways that we can keep our personal money for our household and use business money for the business.
Now, many people don't realize that that's a common thing. You know, that's a common thing throughout entrepreneurs that oftentimes, you know, those are part of the sacrifices that you have to do, you know, starting out. But then sometimes it becomes habitual where we are using our personal funds to fund the business, you know, in order to be able to get whatever product whatever product we need in order to get whatever product we need in order to do whatever we're doing. So if it's a caterer, they got to buy the food. And
Right.
so oftentimes they go in their pocket to buy the food in hopes that, and in other different venues, you have to fund it. But
Mhm.
there is a better way.
There is a better way. And you know what, Pastor? I was just sitting here thinking, and it might just be easier sometime to just do it the way we do it. You know, it's just easier. I just go and I take this money and I'll get it done because I started the business credit process, you know, getting the DUNS number, getting the bank account, getting this and this and this. But then for whatever reason, I don't know if it was hard or what, but then I stopped. So I'm looking forward to Saturday so I can get back where I stopped. What's my next step after those steps that I already took?
Yeah, and that's going to help you because there's going to be some practical ways to get started or to get back for you, get started for others, or strengthening for some others. Because I think what happens is you wear so many hats when you starting out in the business, and even after you start out, it don't have to be a new business. I talk to business owners all the time that has been in business for a long time, but they having challenges when it comes to getting workers, getting faithful workers. And so oftentimes they find themselves doing, a lot of the work themselves. They're the secretary, they the shopper, and they're wearing all these hats. So it's easy to get caught up in running the business and let some things kind of go on the back burner. We got some other workshops that's coming up that I believe is going to help with some of that. Our workshops that's coming up after the one we have now, we're going to be dealing with some of those things that help the business owner to try it. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm just excited
Yeah.
about offering these workshops that we have planned for the next 6 months. But let's get back to the one that's coming up. The one that's coming up in on February 24th at 9 o'clock at Jericho Church Without Walls, 8086 North 76th Street. This is our Beyond the Walls business network that is actually sponsoring them. We just hosted them at Jericho. But going back to what you were saying, as far as you started and you got your numbers together, but then you kind of put it on the back burner. So have you found in running your business that, and you just said that it's easier sometimes to just go and take care of it and then put the money back. Have you found yourself thinking forward as far as needing more money in order to be able to create something bigger where it's not just about the right now, but it's about the future of your entrepreneurship or your business? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly it because where I am right now is easy to just say, okay, here I can do this. I got this extra or whatever. I'll do this project and I'll fund the project. But when I start thinking of the big vision is bigger than me just, taking a little couple hundred and doing this project is thousands of dollars, getting a building, getting the things that need to take care of the building, all of those things. So that's where my focus is now, not at the level that I am, but where I need to go. So I need to get this business credit moving and get everything in order so I can start these next things that I have in my mind to do.
Yeah, we do a Rise and Thrive on Fridays, our Financial Fridays, we call them. And on our last Financial Friday, our co-host James Jones said something that it stuck out so much after it was over. I went on TikTok and I put it out there. And shameless plug, you can follow me on TikTok. We would love to have you a part of the TikTok family. Get motivated and encouraging. But James, he said, when it comes to moving forward, it's not about looking from where you are to where you're going. It's about getting in your mind where you're going and seeing yourself there. Part of vision is visualization. Is about seeing yourself where you want to be, right. Then looking back to where you are, and then they say hindsight is 20/20. Looking back kind of give you those clear steps. And when you see yourself where you're going, you get a greater idea of what you're going to need in order to get there. Does that make sense to you?
That does make sense. And so as people are watching live now, or maybe watch it later today or tomorrow, what are some objectives that they can say, that you can say they'll receive from coming to the workshop on Saturday? What can they take away with them from that workshop?
Well, one of the biggest things is, before I even answer that, is that it's so important that we, you know, have a broader mindset, because a lot of times, and I know it, I felt that way before myself, even as a pastor, that sometimes we feel like we're all alone and that we're unique to this problem or this challenge, and nobody else is have that challenge. And pride to kick in, and then we'll try to hide, or we'll try to not let people know we're challenged or struggle. And so, as a result of it, we're alone, trying to go forth. And so one of the biggest things, a part of being a part of the Beyond the Walls business network and participating in these workshops, is that you're not alone, and you'll be able to hear other entrepreneurs that has similar struggles. You'll
Yeah.
hear entrepreneurs that's further than you are, and then you'll hear from them, and you see, oh, okay, those some things I need to get together. You'll hear
Mhm.
somebody that's not where you are, and you'll be able to say, yeah, I remember being in that place. And then
Right.
you'll hear some entrepreneurs at the stage that you are. And the Bible says iron sharpened iron. So one of the biggest things is being a part of a community, not a community of entrepreneurs or a business network that's trying to get something from you,
Right.
but a community of entrepreneurs or a business network that's trying to get something to you, you know. And so that's very important, because oftentimes, no one has time. That's for a Saturday from 9 to 3. That's prime time, and so I get that, and no one has time. And listen, I don't want to waste nobody time,
Right.
because I don't want my time wasted. And I truly believe being a part of uh, Saturday's workshop, February 24th at 9 o'clock, on business credit, is going to give you some practical nuggets that you can begin to put in place, where you won't be going in your pocket as often to fund what you're trying to do, but you'll
Right.
be able to establish your business as a standalone financially. And there's a lot of perks to establish your business alone financially. You can get to a place where your vehicle is with your business, and you're buying it up under your business, because you got business credit. You can get to a place where when you're going out and you're having those meals, that you can write those meals off because you're talking business. But
Mhm.
being able to have that credit, that you can go and do that, even when it comes to taking trips, you can take trips, and while you own a trip, you can go and survey whatever your particular niche is in that particular city, and then that becomes part of your business expense. So if you
Right.
build business credit as a business, then there's so many benefits, and I got excited about it. I'm just going on and on. but oftentimes in my mind I see it clearly, but I'm not sure if everybody grasps what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're making it very clear, and it takes a different type of perspective to go to the level of business credit, because like I said, it can get comfortable doing it the way you've always done it, and it may seem like it's working, but why not go to the next level and do it even better? And now you can look at different tax write-offs. You can expand your business, because now you can get a business loan. I know that we love grants. However, grants aren't as available as they were at one time, or there's so many people going for the grants. But if you've built up your business credit, you can go in a different direction, and you can get the things done that you need to get done. And so you're making, this whole idea of the business network and offering these business workshops on the fourth Saturdays, I think it's a great idea, because it's not only reaching the people in the community, it's also building businesses, so now they can have employees, they can expand and things like that. So I think it's a great idea, Pastor.
Listen, let's just talk about the elephant in the room,
Okay.
and that is that the average business is struggling. that's coming up. The average new business that's under 7 years, is struggling. The landscape has changed. When you talk about grants was available, but then when everybody started tapping into them, the rules change. And so then you have to understand that you want a business that profits. You don't want a business just based purely on passion. When you have a business that's based purely on passion, that's really a hobby. That's not a business. But when you have a business that can sustain you, that can pull you off of your job, that can give you financial freedom, that can support your family, that can leave a legacy, then it's listen. Anything worth having is worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And so positioning yourself at a different level when it comes to establishing business credit for your business so that you can begin to build your business in a way that it can actually sustain you. I mean, that should be the ultimate goal. You know what I mean?
Exactly. We're
Hey,
not
Lady
trying.
B.
Yeah, Lady B joined tonight. Good evening, Lady Burns. We're not trying to have hobbies. We're trying to have viable businesses.
Yeah, because with hobbies, what happens? You money is going out, but it never gets back in.
Yeah.
You always you're gonna give it back. You're gonna give it back. You're gonna give it back. But it doesn't never seem to balance out. And then it's almost like you're paying to have a business. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
you go in to work a regular job so that you can pay to have a business when that business has the potential of sustaining you to the degree, when you work a job, and I ain't telling nobody to go leave their job tomorrow, so that's not what I'm saying. However, what I am saying is that when you begin to understand that when you work a job, there is a cap. There's only so high you can go. There's only so much they're going to pay you. It is an undeniable fact that most people, after they retire after working 30 years and more, end up going back to work. And so a job, has limits to it. But as an entrepreneur, it's only limited to your own thinking. And so when you understand that the broad spectrum of all that you can do with a business, then you have to change your mindset and begin to think, you know what, I need my business to be sustainable.
Yeah.
And to do that, I need it to sit on its own bottom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to keep my money in my pocket,
Yes.
and I need my business to pay me. And if I'm gonna stay working on a job, I need to get a check from there too.
Okay.
Because ultimately, when you leave your job, you try to make up 3 salaries. You try to make up the salary that you're leaving.
Right.
You try to make up the salary that you're already getting from your business. And then you try to establish both of those together as one big salary. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, Pastor.
Yeah. And so establishing business credit, if you go and you really listen or you see people who have established their business and have business credit, you will be able to see that it puts them in a different place where they have access to other tools that make their business even easier. Does that make sense?
Just as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about who should come to this workshop, Pastor. What type of people, what type of participants? Because we talked a lot about mindset just in a few minutes that we've been on. What kind of people need to be at this workshop on Saturday?
Well, there are several groups of people that need to be here. The first and foremost is each one of those different groups have to be willing to allow somebody to guide them. And so the mindset, going back to that, you have to be a person who's coming hungry for some information that you're going to apply to your situation and not just another notebook you're going to put on the shelf. And then when you look at the groups of people, not necessarily in this order, but the one who's been in business for a while, but you doesn't have enough business credit to take care of the expenses that you have
Right.
when it comes to the product that you have to purchase, the rent or the lease that you have to pay, you know. And so learning how I can build my business credit so that everything that I'm doing is the umbrella, my business credit, it can come under that umbrella of my business credit.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then secondly, that person who you've been in business,
Mhm.
but you have not really been able to turn a profit that's, sustainable,
Yeah.
because you have been using a lot of your own funds
Right.
in order to be able to keep the business going.
Mhm.
And then you have the business that's just starting out. They're just starting out,
Mhm.
and you may not even knew anything about business credit, or you might have thought, um, there's no way I can get business credit, you know. But we're going to be talking about some practical ways that you can begin starting, building your business credit. And then you have that person who, you're thinking about a business, but you don't know how you're going to finance it. It could be a very good idea after you establish your LLC or whatever you're going to establish.
Right.
It could be a good idea to start building your business credit from there. And there are some easy, practical ways that you could do that, without necessarily, you know, having a business full blown. And
Right.
so those are different categories or groups of business owners or entrepreneurs that this workshop will be an asset for you. And then overall, each have to have that mindset that I'm here to take something away from here, not here just to hang out.
Yeah. You gave a few examples of the different type of people. Sometimes we look at a flyer and it might say, practical guide or 101, and we think, oh, I'll need that. But I tell you, the information we got at the last workshop, that was above and beyond. Hearing his Pastor Pyle's personal testimony of his business growth and his mistakes and things that helped him grow along the way, and how he had to, put pride down. Just all of the examples he gave, that's priceless. We
Yeah.
don't get that information from a business mogul every day. So for $25, you have people who are coming to these workshops to share, to teach, that have been in business, that understand the ins and outs, and it's $25. It should be full. I mean, we should have to go get seats for people coming in because it's just priceless information.
Well, on our last workshop, we almost ran out of lunches, in the seats that we had established. And so, and let me say this, on this business, building your business credit, Pastor Philip Hill is going to be our facilitator. He's going to lead us in this. And many people don't even know about him. Many people don't know the multiple LLCs that he has, and the different things that he has established using business credit. And as I was looking around to see who would be the best fit for this, I thought about him because he he's he's been where the average person is, and he still understands that, and he has a heart for that person who's coming up. I didn't want somebody who was going to come and throw a whole lot of stuff over their head or overwhelm them with information, but I needed somebody who could speak to the heart of people and speak practically. And I met with him. We've been communicating back and forth as we were, establishing the workshop. And so I met with him this week and went over, and he was showing me the different things that he was presenting. And he did a workshop for some years back on business credit, but it's not warmed over stuff. He's got all new stuff, all up to date, fresh stuff that
Mhm.
deals with where we are today. And
Okay.
so I think that, just for me, I love workshops like that
Mhm.
where, I can grasp and I can use right away versus, and I ain't shooting at nobody. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I like information that I can take and use. You know, I don't like the fluff. I don't want to sit there all day and then I leave like, okay, what am I going to do with that? You know, you
Mhm.
didn't teach me anything. You didn't give me anything. So I love when someone can come in and be vulnerable, share their experience, share how they got started. And like you said, somebody who is not so far away that they don't understand the average entrepreneur or business owner.
Yeah, yeah, and that's more common than we think when it comes to people who have been in business or and they have come up and now they're thriving. A lot of times, either they're not sharing some of their growing pains, or they're so far removed from them that they don't think to share them. You
Right.
know, and so I believe that it's so important that we be able to understand that you don't really have to be a superstar. You just have to be able to be consistent with where you are. That sounds pretty good right there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times we look at people and we think because they're way up there, that there's no way we can get there.
Right.
You know, but the practical steps to building a business or getting anywhere is the same. I saw a couple of people chime
Mhm.
in on there. Let me backtrack a little bit. Hey, Minister Simone, thank you for tuning in. Deacon Boone, Tim's Trim. He was at our last workshop. He
Mhm.
has a landscaping business, Tim's Trim, and he can send the check for that free announcement, you
Yes.
know, to
Little promo.
dradburns.com. And he said the last workshop was very good. And Lady B said, yes, I needed that. She's talking about the new info. And so
Mhm.
that's important. That's important that, we understand that the principles are the same.
Mhm.
And principles work for anybody, anywhere, at any time. And so if we can get the principles for building business credit and using them to further our business, if we work the principles will work for us. You don't
Yes.
have to be a high educated person, or you don't have to have a lot of money. Your business don't have to be so many years old. You don't have to be so far along. All you need is the principles. If somebody can share with you the principles of how to be able to build business credit and use it to your advantage to grow your business, if you take those principles, they will work for you.
Yes, yes, yes. So, how do you measure your success of your workshop? So, the last workshop, how do you measure that it was a success?
Now I'm a funny guy. I'm my worst critic, and I got to do better with that. Because I'm my worst critic. I will, look every little piece of whatever I'm doing, and
Mhm.
I believe in excellence. I'm an E3 person, so I believe in excellence. I believe it has to be effective, and I believe it has to be efficient. And
Yes.
so when I look back on the workshops and I look at that, I'm looking at all of those different things.
Mhm.
But I would answer the question by saying that j- just several people after the conference that has reached out to me to tell me that either they were already using what they got from the conference, or I had one person to tell me that they was thinking about giving up on their business, and their business was going pretty good. I thought it looked like it from the outside.
Mhm.
And they said that after attending the last workshop, they had a better understanding of what they needed to do and
Mhm.
why it was so hard for them.
Mhm.
And that's priceless to me, you
Yeah.
know. And so, you know, long range, I said we want to do 6 months of workshops, and we wanted to do them because, first of all, I was an entrepreneur. Before I started pastoring, I was an entrepreneur. And I understand the heart of an entrepreneur. I had several businesses and some real estate at the time, and it was very hard for me because I didn't have nobody to partner with me, and so I was using money from one business to fund the other business, and I was doing like some of those contractors do. They get the money from this job, and then they go get another job and get the money, and then they go get another job and get the money. Then I'd circle back and finish the first job with that money, and then get paid and finish the second job. And I was just that's how I was making it.
Right.
But I believe that as I look at the average entrepreneur, it seemed like they may be look like I said with the person who told me they was about to give up. They look like they're doing good on the outside, but they're not at a place where they're actually thriving.
Right.
And so my heart goes out to them. And I said, you know what? From a community base, if we can help our community, when I grew up, there was and this is not a Black business workshop.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm speaking from my experience as a Black man. And when I grew up, there were Black businesses all throughout our community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just about everybody that I knew, most of the people, they was all grinders and hustlers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so nowadays we don't see that. And then the ones that I do see, they don't seem like they're thriving. And so I have this burden, and I said, well, I'm gonna do it for 6 months, and I'm gonna see if they want it, and I'm gonna see if it helped them, and if it do, I'll think about that next phase. I would love to see us get to a place where we're doing expos, where we're bringing in different people to address different areas where a person can go up to the different vendors or different, you know what I'm saying, and be able to get what they need. Now I said a whole lot, but I didn't answer your question. You asked me how do I measure it?
Yes.
So we measure it. We do the surveys and we look at those because the response or the comments is part of the measuring. I set it up as a 6-month thing because my hopes was that each workshop will lead into the next workshop. And then at the end, I will be able to have a true measure, almost like going to, taking a class at, one of the local colleges. You have a certain amount of classes, and then at the end, you get your certificate or whatever. We're looking at doing interns and things of that sort with some of our other business partners, where we can see if they will let you come over and shadow them and be able to, see how somebody else is doing it. And so I think, long story short, because I still ain't answered the question, did I? So we measure our progress through the evaluations, and we measure our project, our progress or the impact through the results that we see the businesses as part of our network or those who are attending the classes are manifesting.
Okay. All right. I love that. So you're saying that this is not like a one-time thing. You're tracking the progress. So you want to hear how they've applied what they've learned and how their business is growing in the business network. So tell us a little bit about the business network. How can one join this business network? Is it only available to join during the workshops? How does the network work?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. And we started out building partners with, and I'm not going to do any name dropping, but we have some very powerful partners, that we started out doing some partners. We reached out to find out people who had our same heart that wanted to impact the community in a big way. And we have this, humongous facility and this campus that we have, and we didn't want it to just be sitting there empty. And so we began to partner with some of the businesses, not only in our area, but some of the larger businesses in the city that was interested in partnering with us. And so we built this great business network. And then we said, now, how do we get people connected to the network so that they could begin to take advantage of, but they could access the wisdom of those corporate companies that's part of our network.
Got it.
And so what we did was we created the Beyond the Walls Business Network and you don't have to be at the workshop to be a part of the network. However, the network was created to begin to provide resources, seminars, workshops that would help a business to grow and sustain itself. And so at this part, join the network is free. And I can't say it's going to always be that way, because we have different expenses and things like that. But right now, for the next 6 months, we're going to reevaluate it at the end. But the business network is free to join. Being a part of business network, we are building. We just had a meeting. I believe it was last week or the week or right after the last conference, looking at what things need to be a part of the network so that it's beneficial for a person to be a part of the network and not just be an email club, but it will be some things that's beneficial. And so what we did is we came up with a list of things, and we're doing just what I said, networking with our partners to solidify, and then we plan on expanding it. And so right now, what we have as part of the business network is we have the workshops. We're working with the different, like with Pastor Powell. I'm still meeting with him so we can create things that we can give our business network access to. Pastor Hill, after we finish the business credit, same thing, where you're able to not necessarily have direct access to Pastor Powell, but he's setting up resources, from the standpoint that we can access the wisdom and knowledge that he has. You know what I mean? So if you got something and it's within that realm, being able to, get that information from him. I'm trying to be a little vague because I don't want everybody running over to Pastor Powell saying, Pastor Burns said, no, it's the part of the network. So each one of our speakers, as we go down, we're building this network so that you have ongoing training and access to the things that you learn. So, because you may come to the workshop and you learn something, and then you go home and you meditate on it, and next week you did what you learned, but then you ran into something else as a byproduct of it, and then now you say, well, then what do I do now? Well, through the network, you'll be able to access that person or wasn't set up to be able to get that information to keep going in that area. And so by the end of the 6 months, can you imagine the wealth of information or access that you have to these powerful people to the degree that, you can continue to climb? Am I making sense? I feel like I'm just talking.
This is good. So this is not something that you just want to sign up for willy-nilly and just come and say, okay, I signed up, I was a part. This is something that you really got to get your perspective together. What are you trying to do? And that's some things that Pastor Powell gave us in that first session. So, you got to have your business plan. You got to know where you're going, because once you start getting into this business credit, you don't want to get over your head. You don't want to go and start building this credit, and now you got lines of credit here and there, but you have no vision. You don't have a place where you're trying to go. So this is really, really a time for us to prepare to go and do and have big vision. You don't have to have small vision. You can have big vision, but you got to have vision, and you got to have a plan.
Well, we listen, definitely we're not looking for the willy-nilly person that's just going to sign up because they love Pastor Burns or they think it's a great idea. You're welcome to sign up. We definitely wouldn't turn you away. Our target group are those people who are really serious about becoming a, Fortune 500, really serious about, making an impact. You know what I'm saying? And so you just think about as we pull all these pieces together, that it becomes almost like an entrepreneur school, that you'll be able to go in and access this information if you're serious about going forward. Now, if you're not serious about going forward, you know what they say, you can lead a horse to the water, and I ain't calling nobody no horse, but you can't make them drink. And so, and then I know sometimes, I've been to conferences and I go and it doesn't resonate with me. It's almost, I can't, grasp it. And then later on, the light bulb come on, and then I make the connection. And so, you know, I believe that we have an opportunity to empower our community and to help our families to get to a better place and experience financial freedom. That's what it's all about. It's all about financial freedom and helping to sustain our communities, because when we have strong people, we have strong communities.
Yeah.
There is no need for us as a people or any person to have to suffer in America, land of the, what I'm saying? People come here from all over the world because of the American dream.
Yes.
And many of us, we was born and raised in America, and we have more of a nightmare than a dream. And so we have to turn that around,
Right.
and so we have to want to do better.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm preaching.
It's okay because, sometimes people come from devastating situations.
Yes.
They are escaping being, killed and all kind of things going on in different countries. And so when they come here, they probably looking around like, why don't you have a business? Why don't you
Right.
have a business? They're coming here to do that.
Yeah.
They're coming here to be successful and to get out of their old way. So, it's really important for us who's here to take advantage, to do what's already here and laid up for us. So yeah, I totally agree with that, Pastor.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
And so this is a great opportunity for any business owner, small or great, new or been in a while. February 24th, to be a part of the Beyond the Walls Business Network as we talk about building your business credit. And it's going to be a practical guide. I need you to register so I can know you coming. The last one, we was on pins and needles because we was about to run out of food and everything, because I told people to just show up, and that's what they did. They showed up. And so I need you to register. You can go to my website, dradburns.com/events, and register. It's $25, and you get a workbook, and you get lunch. Now, speaking of workbook and lunch, Minister Brumfield, you were at our last workshop. What did you say about that workbook?
I'm still making my way through it.
Okay.
That's how much information is in there. I like that I'm able to take a little bit, apply a little bit, go back and review some of the things that Pastor Powell's taught on. But this is an amazing workbook. It has anything you could be thinking about your business plan, your vision, how to get started. We can go back and we can go back through these pages and get the information that we need. So it was excellent in its production. It was clear. I could understand it. So yeah, it was amazing.
So you see the QR codes in there where you can go to some of the sites and,
Yes.
Sample, if you didn't quite know how to do it, look at it. There it is right there. And that's what we wanted. We wanted the outcome the impact to go beyond just the workshop, and of course, that you cannot get everything that you possibly going to need in a 1-day workshop, and so we wanted to make sure that when you walked away, that if you were serious about doing business, that you will have something to help you to continue.
Yeah.
And I'll just be honest and transparent here. I was not thinking about starting another business, but after that workshop and looking at, because of the different things that I have started, I have not started with a business plan. I have not started with some of those principles that we learned. But after being in that workshop last week, I decided that I was going to start another business, and I'm going to start off with the business plan, and then I'm going to I'm going to do what it says, and I'm
Mhm.
going to see if that business, my new business, I ain't going to tell you what it is. My new
Okay.
business is going to outdo the other things that I'm doing because I have a roadmap.
Yeah.
And so the workbook is the new workbook for February 24th, 9 to 3, building your business credit, a practical guide, sponsored by Beyond the Walls Business Network. It's going to be incredible. And the workbook will follow that same format that you will be able to use it well after the workshop until you get to that place where you are actually, over the top. That's where we want you to be. Now, I know this is not something that you need to talk about, but I'm gonna ask anyway. So, how was
Okay.
the lunch?
It was delicious, Pastor. It was really good. The it was not just lunch because there was some like continental breakfast also when we first got there. And so that was not expected. It was extra, going above and beyond. And the sandwiches were good. I'm not a sandwich person, but I still ate my whole sandwich because it was delicious.
All
So
right,
yeah.
we had a awesome caterer, and I believe that she's the same caterer that we're using this time. I have not met with Dr. Bonds. We both been running. She's been out of town, just
Right.
got back in town, and I'm getting ready to leave out of town. And
Mhm.
then our next meeting is actually scheduled after this workshop, and so we'll be texting and stuff back and forth. But the last we text today, and everything is pretty set for this weekend, and so I'm really excited. Matter of fact, now, every February I leave during this same time. And
Mhm.
I'm not back until Saturday. And this time, because of the entrepreneur workshop, I'm coming back early. Matter of fact, one of my friends found out that um, I was doing the workshop, and they said, "So you're not going, you know?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm going." And they're trying to figure out, well, how you gonna do that? So I'm coming back early. And so I know it can go without me,
Mhm.
because I have some incredible people that's
Right.
working with me, you know. However, I want to be there too. I
Mhm.
want to be there too because with my new business venture, I want to be able to fund my new business venture without using none of my own capital. I want to
Okay.
do it all up under the new business. And so
Okay.
now I don't know how that's gonna work, but that's I want to be what they call it, the litmus
Okay.
test.
Test. Yeah.
Say it. What is it?
I think it's the litmus test.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be the guinea pig. I'm gonna be the one who I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna build this business. I'm building a new business,
Mhm.
going through these workshops, and then that's gonna be my testimony.
Okay.
Well, listen, Minister Brumfield, thank you so much for coming on. I know you had an incredible busy day. You've been very, very busy.
Mhm.
Well, not busy because busy doesn't
Right.
really suggest
Right.
productive.
Right.
And so you're doing some incredible things
Mhm.
at the church and on your own and your businesses. And I'm really excited about your future.
Mhm.
And I believe that, as we continue to invest in ourselves, uh, we can make better decisions and get the most out of the decision that we make. You know what I mean? Sometimes we make a decision, and then even though it was good at the time, it has some faults in there, and then some growing pains, or a
Right.
learning curve. But
Yeah.
being able to get some of that information up front
Mhm.
minimize some of those challenges or mistakes or that we make. And so I'm looking forward to turning on the television one day and seeing your franchises. I'll be in Houston in a commercial come on. You
See?
remember they had that place? I don't know if you knew about that place. I don't even know if they still have it or not. It was called Sylvia's Learning Center or something.
I think I can barely remember that. I'm not sure.
It
Sylvan.
was Yeah,
Sylvan.
Sylvan. It was
Okay.
a specialty place, but I had one of my sons to go there,
Mhm.
and they specialize in if you were challenged in a certain academic area, or you wanted to go higher in a certain academic area, they would focus right in that area, and then they would you would be there for 6 weeks or whatever, and then you go back and take the test, and you go from a C to an A.
Okay.
So when I think about your clearly thinking business, because that's something that's needed all over the world, I think about, that being a worldwide establishment,
Yeah.
because mental health is real. And, a lot of people, have lost their way. And sometimes it's just, getting somebody to talk to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So shameless plug, tell us a little bit about Clearly Think. I've been seeing you online doing some, different little gizmos. What you call them things you do?
The book club, the books?
No, not the book. Don't you do like little interviews? I don't mean little, like,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, lives with different,
Yeah.
different
So what is that all about?
So I like to talk to other people, other business owners, or, whatever people are out here doing, and just give them a platform to share who they are and what they're doing, and how they're making an impact in the community. So I've had Now You're Talking Teas on. And so that was a great conversation, seeing how Lady B is thriving with her t-shirts and all of her merchandise. And I had another individual on, Daphne. She came on to talk about the books that she's authored and how she works with single moms. And so I'm just making different connections with different people. One, just to network. It's time to not just stay in your own comfort zone, but to get beyond where you are and meet some new people, see what people are doing, seeing what they're talking about, what they're working on, and maybe you can collab and do something great together. So that's where I am right now.
All right. And then you mentioned a new book or something you just said.
Yeah, the Hope Diary Project.
Okay, tell us about that.
Each year for my birthday, I do something to give back to the community. And so for the last couple of years, I think we did books or whatever. But this time it's a book of hope. So 21 different people came together to share their stories of hope. So because now people, hope is hard to find. Things are going on in people's lives, and it's hard to see past where they are. So I felt that this was a time to share hope. Okay. So this is a free book. It's an ebook, and we have paperback copies. And, it's a way for us to give back. If we know someone who is down or they've lost a loved one, they can scan the QR code and download the ebook after the launch. And so I'm so excited about it, because I know that people are hurting, and this is a way for them to see that other people were there where they are, but there's hope to come out of that.
Okay. All right. And when is it launching?
March 10th.
March 10th. All right. And where they can access that at? You got a website or something?
Oh, yeah. You can go to clearthinkingcs.com.
All right. Well, listen, again, thank you, Minister Brumfield, for sharing your time with us this evening. Rise and Thrive. Don't forget this Saturday, February 24th, is our Beyond the Walls business workshop, Building Your Business Credit, a practical guide. It's 9 to 3 at Jericho Church Without Walls, 8086 North 76th Street. Cost is $25. Lunch and workbook is included. You can go to my website, dradburns.com/events, and register today. And I hope to see you on Saturday. All right. Well, listen, you asked me a question I just remembered about how they can connect with the business network. I'll put something on later, a QR code or something. But we do have a QR code that they can connect with the business network. All right. Well, listen, we out of here. You guys have a great evening. And listen, always remember, be intentional and live on purpose. Be blessed.
Good night.